Greetings, friend. How are you doing today? I have one question for you today. Do you like horror movie? Or perhaps it's not horror movie, but something like haunted house or things like that. Things that scares you. I nowadays, I admit I don't care very much about horror movie or haunted house or what have you. I just don't appreciate being scared. And I shared the other day, a couple days ago, that I could be a little bit of a scaredy cat. And yes, that's labeling myself, but in truth, there are certain things that just I just don't like, and it's a little scary, and I don't care about it. Such that being in horror movie or watching horror movie and being in the haunted house. In the past, I would say that it doesn't bother me. I would say horror movie. Sure, I love horror movie. Any form of horror movie. And going to haunted house. Sure, I'm like super cool and chill all the time and so forth. And that's because I was afraid of the fear itself. I did not want to acknowledge. And this week, you and I are sharing about how you can recognize and easily navigate and triumph over your fear. And one of the way to do that is actually to simply sometimes certain fear you simply just allow. Not everything you have to go out and try to replace and be empowered and all these things and do a whole lot of work. Certain thing in life it might just not worth your energy and time. For instance, I really don't like, so I have a little bit of a fear of spider web for whatever reason. I don't mind the spider as much as I mind the spider web. And so I potentially could react and be and do not things that's not so smart because of my fear of a spider web. Say I'm afraid to I could potentially be afraid to enter a building or reacted if I perceive there might be spider web or something. And is it possible for me to do the work and people do things like I have one hypnotherapist says, oh, we can hypnotize. I'm like, why bother? Because certain fear. I discovered working with my mentor the other day that I had a fear come up, and it's a fear of outshining, a fear of outshining other people, a fear being certain attentions and so forth. And those are the kind of certain fear you actually simply allow them instead of resisting them, instead of trying to push them away or run from them. With everything in life, the more you resist something, with the nature of physics, the more you resist something, the more friction it creates. And when it has a lot of anything with the more frictions, and actually stick around more. So if you resist what have you fear that you have, then it actually will stick around more instead of if you said, okay, well, I have a fear of ill health. Therefore, this is what I'm going to do. And you have perhaps a fear of something else's, and then in some scenario you're just going to allow it, and you just recognize it as long as you being the master of your fear. Because some fear are actually good things. Imagine if you have no fear of falling from high places, from tall buildings or something. You'll be happily walking around and just kind of walk off the tall building, and that will be a bit hazardous, possibly to yourself as well as even people that's around you. So, certain fear are very useful as long as you continue being a master of your fear instead of letting the fear master you. So, in other words, as you go around your day, as notice what fear that you might have, and certain fear you want to act on, certain fear you want to replace, and certain fear you simply learn to make friend with and use it as something that can actually remind you from time to time, being humanness, keeping you humble, keeping you down to earth, what have you, that fear might benefit you. Allow that fear in a way that you master the fear instead of the fear mastering you. And this is Bridget with Joyful Riches Beyond Grief. Please share in the comment below what scares you? Do you like horror movie and haunted house? And what might be things that might be a form of fear to you, something that scares you, something that a bit bother you a bit, and please share them in the comment below. That way, when you say it, when you write it down, that's when you are able to recognize it more and release it, and will help you release that. Please share in the comment below if you have any feedback, and feel welcome to share this video. If you like the video, please click like and subscribes. And I see that as you allow your fear, you allow certain fear in your life and use it as a reminder perhaps for something, that you actually will live an even more beautiful, joyful, fun life, one day at a time, creating a magnificent, thriving life as a whole. And I love you very much, and I look forward to see you again very, very soon.